Okay, so here we go. So tonight we're going to be going over trading using order flow and value areas. Now, until I got Maria's tools, I was vaguely familiar with the concept. I looked and looked at many different products out there, and I found that I was just getting more and more confused. It didn't really do me much good to visit the different websites and so forth. You would take a trial, but you didn't really know what the heck you were looking at or how to use the tools. What I found really great about Maria and her tools is that she gives you a lot of training, as much as you need or as little as you need, and she's very generous with her time, and that really sealed the deal for me. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff out there. I'm sure you've all seen it, some really inexpensive, some really expensive, some you lease for a pretty exorbitant amount, in my opinion, per month, and you don't even own the product. So when you do purchase this, you do own the product. All right, so what is order flow trading? So there's a lot of opinions and variations of the definitions and ways to trade using order flow, and we are generally trading it by anticipating the price levels where there's going to be higher volume traded, and to trade those areas where price is likely to hold and reverse or to break out. And that's mainly how I'm using it. You can trade any way that you can possibly imagine using the order flow. You can trade your current setups that you like and confirm with order flow, many different ways. So I'm going to present the way that I am using it, and most of Maria's students are using it. So I said you're going to trade those levels where price is going to hold, and the big question is, how do you find those levels? Again, like everything else with trading, there are so many different ways of coming up with levels of support and resistance. You can draw them based on price levels that you find that continually hit and hold by looking at different size charts. You can use floor trader pivots, Fibonacci retracement areas, Fibonacci confluence areas, previous day's high, low, open, close. The list goes on and on. So what are you going to use? I don't know. I'd like to use the market profile chart using the volume value areas. And then the big question is, when you get to those areas with price, how do you know whether it's going to hold or it's going to break out? How many times have you taken a trade thinking it's going to break out? It comes up by a tick or two, takes you in just to pull right back and stop you out. How many times have you said, well, I'm not going to get stuck in that trade. It's not going to break out. It's not going to follow through, just to watch it break out and keep going for the trade of the day, and you missed it. A reliable way to define these areas is to use the volume value areas of a developing market profile, as well as the value areas of the previous day. These are areas that continually hit and hold or reverse in those areas. And if you're not familiar with a market profile, what it is, it's a vertical graphic that displays price and time, and you're looking at it in one view, and I'm going to show you an example of this in just a moment, but this allows you to see at a glance the price levels that have the most concentrated volume. And granted, you could do the same looking at a 60-minute chart at the areas of support and resistance. You're assuming that there's a lot of volume there because those areas are holding as support or resistance. And when I show you the different screens that are coming up, you'll see exactly how this will make it a whole lot easier. And market profile developer was Peter Stedelmeyer, and he's one of the CBOT members, and this was released in 1995, market profile. And you can click on that link that's there when you get the PDF file, and you'll be able to download his book for free. And I mean no disrespect, but I find the book really difficult to get through. The one below that I've got listed there, this Mind Over Markets by James Dalton, is a lot easier to read. It still can be a little bit tough, but I found it a lot easier than Stottlemyre's. This is a market profile chart. So these are the individual days, and all of today is not on here yet because I took this screenshot early, but this is the week right here. And let me just go ahead and use this spotlight tool. That's a little better, isn't it? So right here, this is the week. And that doesn't really show up well because there's so many colors in that, so I guess I'm going to have to go back to my normal view. But you can see here, oops, how'd that happen there? Sorry, you guys. There we go. Mind of its own. So you can see here at the different price levels, these volume nodes where you've got a lot more volume. So pretty easy to see here where the high concentration of volume is. And this is a pretty scrunched up view of what we're looking at. This chart comes with Maria's tools, and it will tell you the value areas. It will tell you the fair value areas. I don't personally use this chart. I know a lot of people do just for a quick view on where the higher concentration of volume is in the certain price areas. And you can put this, add this to your mix of tools that you use. Look at it in the morning just to get an idea of where those areas might be. Like I said, I don't even look at it, so shame on me, but I don't find it very helpful for me, but a lot of people do. And if I stretch this chart out, this is what it looks like. So you see all these little letters here, and each letter represents a period of time on the chart. And this is what you call a time price opportunity chart, TPO, and each letter represents a specific bar of time on the chart. And what it does is it will take those price levels. Based on the price levels, it'll put the letter at the price level it occurred. So you can see here a higher concentration in this area, higher concentration in this area, lower concentration here. And so why that's important, I'm going to go back here, is when we're trading, and I'll show you this on our order flow and our market profile chart that we use to trade off of, but when you have these high volume nodes like this and this, what will happen is when price finally breaks down or out, it will trade pretty easily through down to the next high volume area and then down to the next high volume area. And we call it the price vacuum or price suction, and we have it happen over and over again. And I'm always amazed at when we get that, how accurate it is when it actually does decide to break down or break out. It's really interesting to me. So the value area is the area that 70% of the trades took place. And this is determined to be the fair value area. So prices that are above this fair value area are considered to be priced above value, and prices below the fair value area are considered to be below value. And right in the middle of the fair value area, you have what's called the point of control, the POC, and this is where the highest volume has basically taken place at that point of control. And what you find is that when price trades to a high or low value area, that price is then going to try to make its back down, way down or up to the point of control, and then back to the opposite side of the market profile. And I'll show you exactly what I mean about that. And what you'll find if price trades outside, above, or outside below the fair value area, that very often price is going to trade back into the fair value area. It's usually always finding its way back to that fair value area and the point of control. Now, if you have a really strong trending market, it can tend to stay outside of the market profile just to trade back to the high value area, and I'll show you what I mean about that as well. So this is our market profile chart that we use to trade off of. And this is Tuesday. I thought I would use Tuesday because it was a choppy day. Actually, most every day this week had a period of chop, and rather than show you price taking off in one direction or the other for runaway trades, I thought I would show you a time when we have a lot of chop. So the yellow area is the fair value area, and we call this area right up here, this orange line, that's the first high value area, and up here where this reddish brown line is, that's the second high value area. This purple line is the point of control. This orange line down here is the first low value area, and this brown reddish line here is the second low value area. Now this blue line, dot line here, is the previous day's value area, and the tools will plot previous day's high value area, low value area, point of control, a lot of other info. And I'll show you what I'm going to try to do when I get through these slides is I'm going to do a chart replay so you can see what the order flow looks like as it's happening as if it were real time, because obviously the slides that I'm using, the order flow will be static. You won't be able to see the orders coming in, but during chart replay you will be able to. So that'll be helpful, I'm sure. So what we're generally looking for, well actually I need to point this out as well. This is the volume profile. So it's going to give you the volume over here to the right, and you can option to put it over here on the left. I like it over here on the right. And so you can see here we have a lot more volume in this area than we do in this area here. So this is basically just giving you the volume as it's occurring. So what we're looking for is we're looking to take trades, either buys off the follow through here at the first high value area, or we're looking to take shorts as it rolls over from that first high value area. And then we're looking to come down to the point of control. We can take trades around the point of control. Point of control is a little more tricky because it can hang around that area just kind of chopping around. And then we're looking for buys off this low value area, or if it continues through, then we're looking for shorts through that low value area. Now what we'll find throughout the day is it will go from one side of the profile to the other. So here you can see it starts at the top, meanders its way down to the bottom, starts at the bottom, meanders its way back up to the top. So you'll see that very often throughout the day, more than one time. And if you have a really strong trending market, what you're going to find is that price will move higher and then retrace back to this high value area, then move higher, retrace, move higher, retrace. So you can use it as an area for pullbacks too in a really strong trending market. And this is the order flow chart. So the order flow chart also has the value areas built in on it. This teal line, if you will, is the point of control. This is the first value area here, this first white line, and then this is the second value area here on this second white line. Down here we've got the delta. I've got cumulative delta. Now everything on here is customizable. I'm showing what I like, but there are a lot more options to display down here. I like to put the delta on top. You have the option to put the bid and the ask there. You have lots of options, but I like the delta to be right there on top so I don't have to look through a few lines to find it. And with it, just like a simple click, it's easy to add or delete those, and I'll show you when I do the chart replay. So each bar here, I've got a 5-minute chart. It's not usually my favorite. Maria likes a 5-minute. I tend to like an 8 or a 12 tick chart, but you can put this on any size chart that you like. And the reason I don't care for the 5-minute is sometimes these bars get so monstrous in size that it's hard to view. And yeah, stick around, Nikki, and we're going to offer a special on everything and a couple of really great deals. And Maria's here. She'll answer your questions. She can type in. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in, and Maria can answer via the keyboard. So over here we've got another volume profile here, and you can see as the price levels here, as they get dark blue, that's where our highest, we have higher concentration of volume. And then obviously you can see the sell orders in red, buys in green, and the darker the red, the more in that, more in that area, etc. And then you can see down here we don't have a whole lot of volume. Right down here, these are, they call them pivots, but I call them swing highs and swing lows. So the blue lines are the swing highs or pivots, and the red lines are pivots as well. And then, like I said, you have a bunch of options, and I'm going to show you briefly all of them once we get to the chart replay. And what you'll find is these are all be obviously dynamic and moving, and you'll see the orders coming in. So this would be the bar that's forming, and then this would be the action bar, and this would be aggressive orders coming in. And then what it does is once it's had about 5 ticks worth of movement, it adds the orders from here over to here. And these are read on a diagonal. I know this is a little difficult to see, but once I blow up my next screen or the chart replay, then you'll be able to see them a little clearer. But we've got the buys on the right, we've got the sells on the left, and the higher concentration of volume in the price level will be a darker color. And then here you'll see, it's hard to see, I know, because I have everything kind of scrunched up here so you can get a lot of info out of it, but you'll see each bar has a box that's highlighted, and that was the highest number of trades for that particular bar at that particular level. So the use of the value areas for market profile and order flow, in my opinion, are a very effective trading combination. The market profile tells us where the value areas are and the areas that price will either hold or trade back to. And then the order flow tells us who's in control, the buyers or sellers. So this helps to determine whether price is going to hold or break through those value areas. So what I did was I marked up some charts from Tuesday. And I know it's a little difficult to see here, but I wanted to get as much information as I could on here so you can basically correlate where these circles are with the bar that was forming at the time on this order flow. So what we're looking for is, as price comes down to this high value area, we're looking to either, like I said, take a short off that or a buy. So if we're getting more sellers, then we're looking to take a short. If we're getting more buyers, then we're looking to take a buy. And how do we tell that? Pretty quickly. When you look at this, these bars here, there's a whole lot of numbers there, and you're thinking, how could that possibly help? Well, the easiest way is you'll watch the orders coming in as they're coming in, and you'll see you're either getting a lot more buys or a lot more sells, and you'll be able to see the speed of it, and you'll see this during the market replay. But what's helpful is the delta, which is, like I said, the first line down here. And what the delta is the difference between the bids and the asks. So here I've got minus 873. So what that's telling us is that we have negative delta. So I'm looking for negative delta when I'm taking shorts, and I'm looking for a positive delta when I'm taking a buy. Now, this is obviously not moving because it's a screenshot, but these numbers are always changing. They're always changing. So here at A, we don't know yet. As it's coming down, okay, is that going to hold, or is it going to bounce off that area? As it breaks through, we have negative delta, so we could go ahead and short that. Now, for me personally, this is 4,200 area, and on the NQ, I should have said this is the NQ. On the right, I've got it on an 8-tick range chart. You can put this on any size chart you like, and you can trade any instrument that you like. But I don't generally take anything around those round number areas because price just tends to get stuck on it unless I have room to that area. So here, right in this spot here, you're looking at about 4202. This is at 4200. So we've got negative delta. If I decided to take it, I could just go ahead and short, and it works out probably for 3 points or so. And then you bounce back up again. So here you could look to take a buy, except we have negative delta at that time. So not really looking to take a buy here. Here at B, This is the bar that was forming at that time at B. So do we want to take a short? Well, I've got positive delta at the time, so I'm not looking to take a short. But I could go ahead, as it doesn't manage to break through here and bounces back up above, I could go ahead and take a buy. Now, what I would be looking at, and I don't have the whole chart showing, but we had a lot of chop at this time. And so what I would be looking for is I would be looking for, you know, to the left of the chart, where's the last area that it got to? And then I would be looking for price to get back up to that same area. So you can go ahead and buy that. Here's C. This is the same bar that's forming on C, and we have positive delta, so I'm not looking to take that. Again, you know that you've got pretty strong support at 4,200, so you may decide to just give it a shot anyway, knowing that 4,200 is probably going to hold and price is going to be attracted down there to that round number. And then as it's coming back up here, we could either short off that area or we could take a buy. So this is the bar that's forming. You can see I marked it D here. This is D. So we have positive delta, so I can go ahead and take a buy on that. Now, I would be looking for probably a retest of this area here to our left, right where the top part of this area is right here. And then you get more than you bargained for because it decides to break out. Now, we were talking about volume before, and you can see that how in this area here on the chart on the left, this volume here, once it was able to get through this area that had higher volume, it was able to move up a little bit easier. It didn't go very far per se, but it still was able to move through and get through it a little easier. Then as it comes down and retraces, it's either going to bounce or it's going to hold or it's going to go lower. So you can see it continues to go right through that area. This is the bar that's forming right here, and we have negative delta. So we could go ahead and short that. Again, knowing that 4,200 is right there, and that's probably where we're going to get stuck. Right here. And I'm showing you this specifically because everybody always says that it's so easy to see order flow when you've got, you know, nice trending market on what you're supposed to do in those areas. But here's a chop day, and you know, it is more difficult. I'm not going to lie. It's more difficult no matter what you're using to trade on a choppy day. Most of the time when you've got a lot of chop, you're looking to just sit on your hands. So we come down to the high value area here. We got negative delta right here, so we can go ahead and short, like I said, back to 4,200. Now, if you know 4,200 is going to keep holding, you can just obviously buy off that every time it bounces as well. But we're just talking about the market profile tonight. Here comes back up. That's marked F, and that's on this bar right here. We have positive delta, so I can go ahead and buy that. Now, we know it's been chopping, so we're probably not going to sit there waiting for runners, or we're going to take some off the table. Now, the nice thing about the order flow, which I wasn't using until Maria mentioned it, but I used to pretty much, I call it suffocate my trades, where I'd move my stop too soon. And how the order flow has helped me is if I'm long, I can stay long until I see the delta go negative. Or if I'm short, I can stay short until I see the delta go positive. Now, it doesn't mean I have to get out of the trade, but then I can tighten up my stop. And I wasn't using it that way, and I don't know why it's so simplistic. I should have been using it that way, but I wasn't. So that's been really helpful to me. Here at G, again, a breakdown. This is the bar that's forming. We have positive delta, so that would be a pass for me because I've got positive delta and this is breaking lower. Here we come down, obviously it works out pretty well, and a lot of times you'll look to take the trade and it's, let's say you want to take a short and it's positive delta, and then eventually it does go to negative. Then you just have to look for a different way in, look for, you know, a breakdown or look for a retracement. Hey Maria, there's some questions there. Do you mind answering them? And so once it breaks through this area that's been holding as support, we've got our point of control here. And you'll notice here on the bottom of my chart here that I've got a stochastic on here, and I'll use a stochastic to spot divergence in these areas, and I find that really helpful for myself. Let's see, Matt is asking if you use an 8-range chart, wouldn't you want an 8-range footprint on the delta? You can, Matt, but the thing is that we're not really looking so much at the bars on the footprint chart. We're looking at the price levels. But I'd like an 8-tick, an 8 or a 12-tick range chart, but when price is moving really quickly, it's a little harder. But I find the 5-minute works well because basically what you're seeing when you're looking at a 5-minute chart is if you have negative delta on a 5-minute chart, pretty much that's the same as using like a 5-minute as your broader view of the chart. You know, it's a little bit more inclined to hold. Like you can get more of a trend, if you will, or directional idea off of a 5-minute chart, let's say, than a 1-minute chart or a 2-minute chart or even an 8-tick range chart because the bars are forming so fast. I hope that makes sense. Maria, don't answer it in the chat. What you'll have to do is answer it in the questions. So like make your question box bigger because they can't see the chat. Only me and you can see the chat. So if you click on the question box and open it up, you can make that as big as you want, and then you'll see the people's questions. The question box should be like towards the middle. You should have it as a panelist, I think. It'll go audio, dashboard, attendees. Hopefully you have it. If not, we'll just take the questions afterwards and we'll use the... Huh, you don't have it? Okay. That's odd. Go up top and where it says view and make sure that you've got a check mark next to questions and see if that does it. Okay, so at the point of control here, we don't know if it's going to hold, going to bounce, or what it's going to do, and that's at H. We've got big negative delta there, so we could go ahead and short off that. Now, generally, I'm a little more cautious, so what I'll do is I'll let it break and then let it retrace and then look to take it as long as I've still got the confirmation here with the negative delta. Let's see. The value areas are determined by volume off the market profile, Scott. So in the yellow area is 70% of the volume, and then the blue areas outside, these first value areas, is the rest of the volume. All right. Here we are, this chart here. So now we're back down to, this is like just a continuation of the chart I just showed you. So here was H. You can see H here. So you take a short, what I would do is I'd take it on the retrace. Maria's more aggressive, and they'll just short it here. She'll just short it here. So on the retrace you take it, and like I said, it's got negative delta, so we're good to go. Then we get back up here again, and this is at I, and that's on the same bar. So I can go ahead and short it again if I wanted to. Trades back up. I've got negative delta. This is still the bar that's forming. I can go ahead and take it. Now obviously this number is not staying at minus 792 as it's happening. But you'll see that it will, it's constantly moving, but as long as it's negative, I can go ahead and take it. Here's J, back up to the point of control. And again, we're chopping sideways. This isn't really a great area to be looking to take trades. We're looking to take trades. Maria likes to call it a balanced and unbalanced market. Balanced would be sideways chop. Unbalanced would be more of a directional move with more buyers stepping in or more sellers. If you have more buyers, you're going to be moving higher. You have more sellers, you're going to be moving lower. And I know that's simply put, but that's the gist of it. So here at J, which is right here, I'm not going to short it again because I've got positive delta. And it does go on to work out, and it finds its way down to the low value area here, and that's on this bar here at K. So now I don't know, okay, is this going to hold? Is it going to bounce? What's it going to do? And a lot of times it'll kind of churn around there, like churn back and forth before it either takes off higher or tries to go lower. So here, this gives us a good sign where we're looking at this bottoming tail. So that pretty much tells us the buyers stepped up, and I've got positive delta. So I can go ahead and buy that. Here, back up to the point of control. We've got positive delta, so I'm not looking to short that. Now, if you're going sideways, you can obviously be a little more aggressive with it, and as soon as it gets up there, just short it, because it's probably going to hold here. Then we don't quite find our way back down to the low value area here, but close enough. We've got positive delta, so I can go ahead and buy that. And either you're in while it retraces back up to the high value area here, or if you never got in down here, once it gets here to the point of control and turns around a little bit, this is the bar that's forming right here at N. We got big positive delta there, so you could go ahead and buy it. We get up to the high value area here. Doesn't quite hit, but close enough. And you can go ahead and short that. If you're not comfortable with that, like what I like to see is I like to see it come up, and then it'll come down, and it'll come back up and test it again, and then I'll take it. Like I said, I'm more on the cautious side. But you could go ahead and short that because we've got negative delta. And then you're expecting it to find its way. Of course, if it can get through 4,200 again, then you're looking for it to find its way to the point of control, and then you're looking for it to find its way back down here to the low value area. Now, notice, okay, right here, see the volume? Okay, so here we've got higher volume. You can see it right here. So it stalls in the high volume area. As it's moving lower, notice how it gets through this lower volume area here, and where does it hold up again? Right in this higher volume area here. So ideally, if this could move lower through this low value area, you'd expect it to be able to move down to the next higher volume area. And you can see the volume over here as well. Higher volume. It's holding, holding, holding. So we know probably if it can, break through this area here, it might be able to move a little bit lower. And you can see all the pivots here. Maria calls them pivots. I call them swing lows. So these are all lows of previous bars, these red lines here. So realistically, this could get stuck on the way down. Just means we have a lot of chop. It can get stuck on every single one of those, just like, looking at a time-based chart. If you got a lot of chop, everywhere it stalls, it can get stuck. Oops. So here, next chart, this is just a continuation of the same chart. Let me just show you. So here's where we left off at O. Or was that Q? M and O. And then here's the next one, P, as it comes through the point of control. Right here, got negative delta. You can short it, expecting to find your way, again, down here to the low value area. Turns around a little bit, gets down to the low value area here. Now you can be looking for shorts, buys, as it's just chopping around here. But realistically, if it's just chopping around, you might try once, and if you get stopped out, then you're not going to try it again until it gets more confirmation with more orders coming in. But here at Q, right in this area here, we've got positive delta. So when it comes down to this area here and you get this bottoming tail, you could go ahead and buy that. And realistically, this is an 8-tick range chart. So this would be good still for, probably 3 points or so on the bounce. Then it comes down, it's still the same bar forming, so not looking to take a short, comes back up. If you still have positive delta, you could certainly try to buy it again. But with it holding over here, you might want to make sure that you've got a lot of buy orders coming in, and you'll be able to tell by the flow. Then once it breaks through here again at R, that I've got marked R right here, we've got negative delta. So we could go ahead and short that. like I said, you could take it right as it's breaking or wait for the retest, and as long as you've got negative delta, you could go ahead and take it. So it just depends on how aggressive you want to be. Obviously, if you take it as soon as it breaks and you've got negative delta, you're already up 3 or 4 points before it retraces, and then I'm getting in. So again, up to you however you want to trade that. And then we get through to the bottom part of the profile here. Now usually we'll get a hesitation in the previous day's value area. This is the previous day value area. And you can see it holds that, bounces off when it breaks through, and then it starts to hold as resistance on the previous day's value area. But notice again, you can see this black outline here. That's cumulative volume. So once it was able to trade through this area right here, it was hung up on the next high volume area. And you can see it probably here a little bit clearer over here. And I know that seems so simplistic, but that's all it is, you guys. It's the more you do it, it takes a lot of practice, but the more you do it, the more proficient you become. So I'm going to just pause my screen for a second, and I'm going to get my charts up to show you the chart replay so you can see how it's actually happening as you're looking at it rather than static. And I just thought I'd put that in there to rub it into you guys who all have snow, or maybe you can live, like I told Maria the other day, vicariously through us who have nice weather. Oops. I hate when that happens. All right. So I'm going to just pause my screen on that. Let me just get my charts up here real quick. Now I tried this earlier to use the chart replay while we're recording, and it worked out okay. So hopefully it'll work out this time around. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my start button on the chart replay. And while it's going on here, I'm going to tell you what you're looking at once it starts here. All right, so it started here. So over here, we've got the order flow, obviously. And on the right, we've got the market profile chart. And so this is this morning at like 9:31. And you can see the orders coming in here. These are the aggressive orders. Now, obviously, right off the open, you're going to get a little more in the way of volume coming in than, an hour into the market. So this will slow down or speed up as the orders are coming in. This is the bar that's forming right here. Right here. Hopefully you can see it. And then these are the aggressive orders. And what happens is it will take these orders from here and put them into here. But you can see here we've got the buyers on the right, sellers on the left, and we're always looking at this on a diagonal. Let me just make this just a little bit bigger here so you can see. There you go. So we got the buyers on the right, sellers on the left, and this is read on a diagonal. So here at this price level, you've got 22 sells to 17 buys, 17 to 21, 14 to 5. So it's always read on a diagonal. And you can see that it's moving lower here. And it's just 9:32. On this chart here, we can easily go ahead and take things off or put things on. So like here, I've got everything on here, the pivots, highs, and lows. We've got the fib lines as well. And I don't use this formation 1, 2, 3, but that's something that you can use as well. Here we can put total volume. You can put the bid and the ask over here on the left as well. I don't use that usually, but you can put the bid and the ask on there as well. Here, at a click of a button, I can go ahead and down here I can, if I wanted to, I could put total ask I can put bid, so you can see they're getting bigger here, adding the columns here to our dashboard, if you will. And like I said, I like to just be able to look at the delta as the top. For me, that's easier because then I don't have to look through a bunch of different lines here. And this is an indicator that also comes with the package. This is a divergence delta, and it basically is telling you the same thing as these delta numbers are. So here you can see we've got positive delta. We've got a green line drawn here, green bar. I guess I would call that a bar. Here's a little bit smaller in red. And so those will form. I don't use this indicator because I don't find the need for it because I'm looking at my delta. But here you can see the orders coming in. And then you can view these bid and ask boxes a few different ways as well. So you can view it, like I just have a bid-ask ladder, but you can view it bid times ask. You can view it as a bid-ask histogram. So in a histogram you can see where the majority of the volume is and what was it, buys or sells. You can view it as just the delta, so negative or positive delta at that price level. You got, like I said, quite a few different options. And this is my fave right there. And you can do the same with the action bar also. And you can also, let me just scrunch this up here a little bit. You can also do formation 1, 2, 3. I don't know how to trade those, but that's what these arrows are up here. So I don't use them. Also, what you'll notice, I don't have any on here that I can show you, but when we have unfinished business, you'll notice here, like each bar ends with a 0 here at the top on the sell side and a 0 down here on the buy side. And when we have unfinished business, it'll mark it with a big green circle or a red circle. And what that means is that it didn't zero itself out. And price will come back and usually retest that area. On the chart on the right, I've got previous day's value areas. That's what the blue is, the red is, the pink is, the red as well. And we have lots of options on this as well. I'm showing the volume over here as bars, but you can use a histogram, you can use a hologram, you can use a filled hologram. So I like the bars. You can choose to draw this outline or not draw this outline. And let me just speed this up a little bit so you can see a little more. Let me just take a couple of these questions. Well, I don't know why Maria doesn't have her box, so I'm sorry, Maria. Jose says, what size are typical protective stops? That's going to be up to the individual, Jose. But a lot of times you can use the pivots here. I mean, I use a specific number. You can use a level if you like. If you see volume, let's say that you're going to take a short and you see a lot of high volume above you, you can use that as your stop area. It's still going to be up to the individual, how they want to use a stop. Keith is saying, are the bottom and tops of the volume bars more important? How would that be accounted for? Is this webinar recorded? Yes, the webinar is recorded. Well, actually, Keith, and I'll leave that for Maria to answer. So I'll finish this up and I'll leave a lot of these questions for Maria to answer. This is a VWAP, Ted. This is a VWAP chart. And you have an option to also change that as well. So I chose VWAP, but you can use TPO or you can use volume. So you have options there as well. You have lots of options that are customizable as to what you want to use on both these charts. This isn't an add-on for Ninja. This is proprietary product that Maria sells, but it is only for Ninja. Scott's saying at 9:33, Delta was red at the time, wasn't it? I wasn't honestly looking at this as it was forming, Scott, at 9:33, but if it was red and you were here, I think you're talking about maybe the point of control here at 9:31, you could short, or if you're here at this previous day's value area and you had positive delta, you could buy. If you're getting through the point of control here and you've got positive delta, you can buy. And then the hope would be that you find your way back up to the high value area here. Let me just speed the chart replay up a little bit. So then we can see it happening here. So here we've got this area here of our high value area, and we've got positive delta, and I know I might have replayed that a little bit fast, but you can go ahead and buy that. Or the next option is you can go ahead and buy off this red area from previous day's value area as long as you've got positive delta. Here, now we're waiting to see, we've got negative delta, we could go ahead and short this. Right here. If you got negative delta, you're going to short it. If you got positive, you're going to buy it. And so now we're at the top. You can see the orders coming in. I got this replaying like 15 times faster. But here you got divergence to the downside from up here, and you got the possibility that you could take a short off there as long as you've got negative delta. But here we've got positive as we're bouncing off this area here. I know I've got it playing really fast here in replay, but you can see the orders coming in up here. And what you'll be able to see is the flow of them coming in. So you can see right in this area of 33.75, it then put the orders over here on to the bar that's actually forming. So here you can see the sell orders, buy orders, sell orders. Let me just make this a little faster here. Just get through this. So I wanted to make sure that you guys could see how it actually, the bars are forming, because when you're looking at a static chart, it's really hard to comprehend. And this is replaying 300 times faster than normal. And so you can see negative delta right here. So you could go ahead and short off that 36 area when you saw the negative delta, and then hope that you find your way down here to 31.50. It still works out for like 3-4 points there. And like I said, the hope is that it trades its way down here. If not, then it'll find its way likely back up to this area from yesterday. So now we're just kind of chopping around here. And so we're in the fair value area. We're looking for negative delta. We can go ahead and short. We got negative. We can go ahead and short. And if you want to wait for the retest, you could go ahead and wait for the retest. And now we're back above it. So if you get positive, you can go ahead and buy it, which you got. All right, so I'm going to answer some of these questions while you're watching that. Let's see. Yes, it will be recorded, so we'll make sure to get that out to everybody. These are Maria's indicators. And you can use any data feed, and this is through Ninja. Nikki says, I do see 1 times 1 unfinished auction, and I'm just seeing that, so wondering what that actually means in terms of buyers, sellers. Well, if you have unfinished business, so let's say you had, like here you could see, we don't have any here showing, but you can see that it's zeroed out up here, 0, 16, 65, 0, even though, because we're always looking at these on a diagonal, so that's why they're always going to likely be zeroed out. But let's say that there was a 1 here or a 2 here or whatever, that would be considered unfinished business, and what would happen is that price would wind up retracing back up to that. Wherever you have unfinished business, price will wind up retesting. And it doesn't necessarily mean right away, but at some point it will find its way back to that unfinished business to finish its business. And so here you can see as this was coming down here and bouncing, we got the positive. So you can go ahead and buy it. Here's the positive. You buy it. And now we're up here at the top again. So we're looking to short it as long as we got negative delta, which we do. And then we're looking for a retest of this area here and then back down to the point of control. Let's see. I got that question. And Gord is asking, how would you place stops for this kind of trading? I mean, I just use, for myself, for my plan, I just use specific stop to start with, and then I'm moving it pretty quickly. Maria starts with a really small stop, and you can use the different price levels, like I was saying, if you wanted to, Gord. Or you can use the pivots, a tick above or below the pivots, like this blue line here. And so here, bouncing off this area here, we chopped here for a little while, and then bouncing off this area, we did have positive delta, so you could go ahead and buy it. So that's, I mean, I know it looks, and I'm making it seem really simple. It really is once you practice with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Maria the mic. I'm going to just let this keep playing while Maria's talking, and then this way we can let her answer some questions. Matt says, do you ignore deltas that are low in number? Well, like what you'll see is if you have a high number, let's say, and you can see the orders coming in, like you can see here, if you've got high numbers here toward the top, and then like you're looking to take a buy, and then as it's moving higher, the numbers are decreasing, then you know it's probably losing its steam. Same holds true here, like on the sell side, or even here on the sell side. You can see you have some high numbers of sells, and then it's like dwindling down to 30, 41, 3. So the likelihood is that, you know, it's slowing down, it's losing its steam. The delta here is the same, is if you see a high, really high number, and then follows up with a really low number, a lot of times it will basically start to consolidate, or it'll slow down, you know, before it starts back up in that same direction. So you can, in my opinion, you can tell by looking at, like, here's 401, here's 14, here's 411, now we're going to minus 11, etc. So what are we doing? We're consolidating up here. So now if this delta starts to get more negative, then realistically we can look for, you know, possibly price to move lower back down to the high value area here. All right, so Maria, I'll tell you what the questions are. And then you can answer them. How's that? So you want to unmute yourself? And you want to take some questions? And I'll read them to you. Maria. There. So you're unmuted, Maria. So can you hear me, Maria?
Hi, everybody.
This is Maria.
I can.
This is,
Hello.
these are her tools, and I'm going to just read the questions, and then we'll get to the drawing and what the special is that Maria's going to offer you guys. So one of the questions is, are the tops and bottoms of the volume bars more important, and how would they be accounted for? Is this, yeah, I already answered that, I think.
Go ahead, next
Answered
question.
that one. Let's see. How do you determine the market profile composite? Can we adjust the days or periods?
Yes.
Yes, Matt.
You can put as many profiles as you want on one chart.
Yeah, a lot of people in Maria's room will place multiple profiles, so they'll get a lot of the volume overlapping, giving them more information as to where those areas might have more.
Yeah, you get a bigger picture that way. Especially if you want to swing trade, it's a good method to use. Or if you're going to hold a position overnight.
And how many price bars on the right chart does it take to equal one column on the left chart? I think you're talking about this. It doesn't have anything to do, one chart doesn't have anything to do with the other, Paul. On the right, I've got an 8-tick range chart, so each bar here represents 8 ticks in price on this chart here. And on the left here, each bar is 5 minutes, period. So when 5 minutes is up, the new bar is starting. So one has nothing to do with the other in relation to when the bars are forming. All it's looking at here really on the left is the price levels. Okay, so it's just about 5. Anybody else have any questions? I'm going to just let this keep playing, and then for another couple seconds here. Anybody has any questions, now would be the time.
Don't be shy.
Now's the time. How do you use the cumulative volume line on the VWAP? Are you talking about the black outline here, Michael? Yeah.
I look for the holes in that, Michael.
So
I care about the holes because when it creates a vacuum. If you notice, when price gets near these areas where the volume drops off, whoever has the control at the volume where it peaks out here, let's say. Oh, you can't see me pointing. See the little peak?
Right here.
Whoever has control there is going to take over this market.
And
so I want to see it come out of this area and tank into where there's no volume, because whoever, like I said, whoever has it at that point, the stronger hand will bring it down, and they'll bring it down fast.
So you can look at all these little areas
nodes
out here, Michael, the nodes. So like if from here, then you're looking for it to get stuck here. Then if it can get through there, exactly, it got stuck right there. Then we're looking for it to get stuck here. Then we're looking for it to get stuck here and here and here. So that's what we're looking for. Like here, if it were to break this area here, at this 4220 spot, and I don't know how it wound up at that area because I don't think we'll get to that point here, but if it breaks that, then realistically it could trade through all of this down to this next high volume area. Obviously it can get stuck on a few of these little areas, but here's where you have the most volume again, is down here at the 4208, 4209. Let's see, we got some questions here. Yes, I trade the NQ. I love the NQ. Jose says, are these the only charts you need to see to trade any market? Yeah.
Yes.
So it is a customizable indicator to use with Ninja, from what I understand. So how?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not just an indicator per se. It's
information.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's more like information that you're going to use to assist you in taking your trades, Max. So it's not like throwing a moving average on here.
It's not lagging. So you make wiser decisions. I'm not saying that every trade you take is going to be a winner by any stretch of the imagination, but the odds are definitely stacked in your favor.
Matt is asking what settings do I use for my stochastic. I just use 14, 3, and 3. This is just a standard stochastic. I like it because I can spot divergence. Like, for example, you know, here, and this is just me. This doesn't have to be everybody trades it like this. But, you know, coming up here, I've got higher highs in price. Down here, I've got lower highs on the stochastic. And so if I have negative delta and I'm coming up to a resistance area, let's say this high value area, I can go ahead and take a short. So, you know, I find it very helpful, but, you know, not everybody does. And you can use any indicator that you've got for spotting divergence.
Tricia, I have to go out and do something for a second.
Okay, so let's, I'm going to just pause this, and I'm going to bring my...
And number 11 is the winner.
Number 11? Okay. So let me just bring my presentation back up here again, and I'll show you what we've got going on, Max. Okay, so here's my screen. So what comes with the package is the Divergence Delta indicator, the market profile plus, the order flow chart, the price action, and the VWAP market profile. These are all the tools that were just on the two charts that I just showed you guys. And you can make them as customizable as you want. Maria's offering, for the first 10 people who buy today, they'll get a year in the training room and $200 off the package. Now, normally you get 6 months in the training room, where it runs from 4 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. every day, Monday through Friday. And so that's where you're going to get your training. And Maria is very helpful in answering questions as she's taking trades. Sometimes she's not able to answer your question until she's out of the trade, but she's always willing to tell you why she took the trade, show you on a chart what she's looking at. And as with all the packages that are out there, that was my biggest concern, was the training. And I didn't find that very many of them had very much one-on-one training. And these are Maria's tools. These are not mine. I'm just a fan of them. I love them. I use them. I think everybody can definitely benefit by them. So for the first 10 people who buy today, just go to Maria's site down here at tradeorderflow.com, and you can see what the package is. And first 10 people are going to get $200 and a year in the training room. Anybody else after the first 10 will get $200 off, and or 7 months instead of 6 months in the training room. So today we did a drawing for a free month in the room. And so I think that's, Starkey, what you're talking about. So you can actually ask for a free trial in Maria's training room. It's by request only. Send her an email at this email. And like I said, the slides will be available when I send out the recording tomorrow, so you'll be able to click on the link. But it's tradetheminis@gmail.com, or you can go to tradeorderflow.com and just click on her Contact Us form, and you can fill that out. But we did a drawing, and so Maria just said number 11. So let's see who number 11 is. So Donald Crawley, you are the winner of the free month in the room. And we'll make sure to send you the info on where to sign in. So Donald, you're here. Hopefully you're paying attention. What you'll do, Jose, is just, there is no coupon, but send Maria an email, and then she can just invoice you. That's the easiest way, you guys. I would say don't buy off her website. Send her an email and tell her that you attended the webinar. And you know, for the first 10 people, like I said, she's going to give a year in the training room and $200 off. Everyone else will be $200 off or an extra month in the room. Great, Donald. Well, you got the free month in Maria's room, so I'll make sure to email you the info. Actually, you'll get a link from Maria, but I'll make sure to send you an email as well. Oh, good. Michael likes the divergence as well. The order flow chart actually is through Maria Scott. It's an indicator that you'll put on your chart. So let me just bring this up here again. Let me just show you real quick. Oh, wrong one. I don't want that one. Okay. So here on the order flow, like you'll just start a regular old chart like you do, and then you would put on the one indicator that Maria is, or actually, you know, however many you want. You got the order flow and the price action. Those both go on one chart. And then if you want the divergence delta, that goes on that chart. And then over here, you're just going to put on the order flow VWAP market profile. And so those all come with the package. No, she's not the data feed. Whoever your broker is, so whoever you have your data feed through your broker, that's who you'll stick with. You don't have to do anything different with your data, Scott. Let's see. Banjani says, I have already had a free trial, but at the time I did not understand these tools. My understanding is better after this webinar. Could I still have another free trial? Just send Maria an email, Banjani. If I apologize if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. And then just let her know that. And she's very generous and sure that she will be willing to allow you another day in the room. She's, like I said, she's very understanding and very generous. At least I've found her that way. And she's very generous with her time as well. Okay, Banjani? And her email is right here. tradetheeminis@gmail.com. And her website is tradeorderflow.com. And again, the special is only for today, you guys. So if you're seriously considering it, I would take advantage because that year in the training room is huge. At one point, everybody got that, but you know, she was getting crowded, so she cut it back to 6 months. So that's a really, really, really great perk right there. And then she also offers boot camps, usually twice a month, where she'll be able to see what you've been doing, and then she can critique what you're doing. And what I found helpful in the boot camps was I was able to see what everybody else was doing as well. So I found that really helpful as well. So you get the boot camps and the training room. So again, this special is just for today. So any questions, make sure you send Maria an email today. Don't email her in 5 days and say, I didn't know I wanted to buy it, and then ask for the special because, you know, like I said, she's generous, but I don't know if she's that generous. Okay, you guys. Well, I'm going to mute Maria here for a second. Okay. So anybody else have any questions? Okay, I'm going to just stop this recording real quick.